Smell wonder in the air. Yeah, I remember that the sound of thunder frightens you. Hear the roar.
Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Hear the roar.
Yes.
Hear the roar. As the sound of thunder, it's crashing down. You hide behind my back, and I press on your shoulders. Yeah, I grab your cheek and I kiss your lips, 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 lips. Hey, you know that lightning was gonna strike today. You shut your eyes when lightning strikes over the hill. Yeah. And the rain falls. Hear the patters of water. Yeah, and the rain falls. Hear patters of water.
Splash.
Right here now. You know that lightning was gonna strike today.
You hear that shit, son? Harmon Warhol exclusive, baby. You ready to do this?
I'm down. I'm down.
Like,
Yeah.
Put the guitar down, bro. We gotta go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Harmon Warhol bringing another episode of the Harmon Warhol Show. And I have a special guest. He is a musician. He is an artist. His name is Geovanie Brooks. Hey! A.K.A. Pizza Boy Blues, bro, on Instagram, baby. What's good, bro? What's good? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
TV handshake, bro.
I know, right? Like,
I just gave your tall ass a hug earlier. And shit,
I know,
bro.
right?
So I want to know, how is it like Shaq being your dad?
How is Shaq being my dad? Believe it or not, my dad he's a 5'6", very short Jamaican man.
Really?
Yes, that's
so
my
you're
father.
Jamaican?
Yes, I am.
Okay, for sure. Jamaican in what? Just Jamaican?
Just Jamaican. Like, both my parents came from Jamaica.
Yeah.
My mom showed up around here like a month before I was born, and then, a few years later, my dad came around, and that's how it is,
So what kind of lives did they live? Like, did they just like fucking hustle to get out here or something like that, or?
Well, my mom got kind of lucky. My grandma, her mom, was up in the States already, so she lived here for like a decade. At the time, my mom was living with her grandma, so it was pretty easy. She just went back and she was like, "Hey, you need to come up." And at the time, my grandma didn't know that my mom was pregnant. So when my mom showed up and she
kept her on the creep on the low.
I know she was 8 months pregnant, and straight up TSA wasn't even at the time. They said that you shouldn't even be flying. You shouldn't even be up here, but we're just going to let you through. You're already here.
Yeah, it's like, bitch, I'm trying to make it. Like,
Exactly. So my grandma filed for my mom. That's how she got up here. And then a few years later, my mom filed for my dad, and that's how he came up here.
Oh, okay, for sure. That's what's up. I mean, he had to see his baby boy, you know what I mean? Are you an only child?
No, I am one of three. I have two other half siblings.
Oh, okay.
And all my family's up here now. We're all in the U.S., but they live in the East Coast. My brother lives in Paterson, New Jersey. My sister, she's going to nursing school out in Pittsburgh. So
you guys always been in California, or is you guys just where'd you from Jamaica? Where they?
So I've always majority of my life lived in California. I lived in Jamaica for a year when I was like 5, and during that time I got to know my old man a bit better, and then I came back up, and as soon as we came back up to the U.S., my mom at the time, she was living in New York, so we lived in New York for like 4 months, and then we moved down to Atlanta, and we lived there for like 6 months, and then we came back to California.
Yeah, okay, for sure. And then you've been in Stockton for how long?
I've been in Stockton for about, I would say, 13, 14 years.
And how old are you?
Me, I'm 32.
Okay, for sure. We're about the same age. I'm about to turn 32 as well.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so have you always just like played music, or like, I mean, I'm sure you always loved music, right? I'm sure, I mean, but the thing is, like, when did you like pick up an instrument? When did you get in tune with it? Like your parents, they play music?
My dad is it's funny kind of talking about like my dad's musical experience. So I guess when he was around my age and much younger too, he went around Jamaica and he performed reggae shows with different friends and different groups. And so he's been a reggae vocalist, and he told me I have relatives that were musically inclined. They played different instruments. On my mom's side of the family, though, there's no like artistic spark. That's the best way to put it. Like everyone's kind of like either you're a doctor or you're an accountant, or like no one really played music or done anything artistic. So it was kind of weird when I started getting into music. I was like 15, and during that time, it was weird. It was weird because I moved to San Jose. I was living with my mom. I had a friend. We went to the same high school. He played guitar. He wanted to start a band, and he's like, "I'll teach you to play bass." So I started playing bass.
So that was the bass was the first one?
Yeah, the bass is my first instrument.
You've always been like a tall kid, bigger kid?
Yeah, always. Since the age of 10. I was always the tallest kid in the class.
Okay, yeah, because I'm just like, because, bro, like, being, like, the fingers, I always look at the fingers. Anytime I see someone who plays, majority of the time, they got, like, you're like, oh, these niggas got long-ass fingers.
I know. Sometimes I don't know what to do with my hands. But, yeah, like, I got really big hands. So, naturally, I played bass, and I was pretty decent at it. But when I was 20, my best friend got me into playing guitar. And, of course, when you're young and you get into relationships, you get out of relationships and you're all depressed, and you get friends that are like, oh, you should try this. And he was like, you should learn how to play guitar. I'm like, why? I play bass. And he's like, it'll make you feel good. It'll make you better at your instrument. Go ahead. So that's what happened. I took a guitar class at Delta.
Oh, okay, for sure. That you just picked up from there and just like, so go into your music inspirations.
Music inspirations, number one, and I will always say this, is Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, for sure.
Jimi Hendrix was, for a long, long time, it didn't really occur to me. I didn't know much about, like, American music history in terms of, like, how basically the black man started rock and roll, started guitar-driven music. And when I saw Hendrix and heard the stuff he was playing, I was like, that's it. That's the
style.
That's the sound. That's something I want to do. So Hendrix was the key to opening a much bigger door. And then as I got older, I got into bands like the Black Keys, the White Stripes.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm gonna fight them off. 7 Nation Army can't hold me down. Yeah, I know, right? But I got into White Stripes, and then I got into like deeper blues, and what I mean by deeper blues was like I started figuring out the stuff that they were listening to. So Jack White, of course, he listened to early country, and then of course Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys, he listened to like Model T Ford, Junior Kimbrough. I was like, who the hell is Junior Kimbrough? And then it got me into that weird Mississippi hill country blues stuff. So R.L. Burnside, Junior Kimbrough, that stuff is raw. That is the most sickest stuff you'll ever hear in any lifetime when it comes to like playing guitar, playing the blues. Like they just left it all out there. So
yeah, that's so weird for me. I don't know. I think it's more me like because my grandfather, he's more of a Coltrane and Miles Davis. Those are like, you know what I mean? It's funny too because like I talk to my dad and like other people about just like the music thing too because it's always tripped me out because like I just automatically assume my grandfather liked James Brown and Earth, Wind and Fire, you know what I mean? I just assume because it's older music, especially to me. I don't know when these fucking shit's made, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
at that time when I'm thinking about the like teenage years, you know what I mean? Now I have more, you know, get it, you know, but he's just like, I don't like, he don't fucking fuck with James Brown, you know what I mean? I was just like, I was astonished. I was like, just, what? Nigga, he's like, all that fucking, you don't know what he's saying. And I'm like, nigga, he's acting like James Brown. James Brown was the first Lil Uzi Vert, nigga. like,
exactly.
Like, niggas don't know. But, that's what I was tripping out on because, and then, you know, there's certain things that my dad doesn't like about some of the new stuff, but there's some of the new stuff that I don't fuck with my dad loves, you know what I mean? And I just say, like, nowadays, which is crazy, our generation, the music gap is, like, almost gone. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, because just from my dad and my grandfather, you know what I'm saying, there's a big, you know, music gap. Like, he's still on blues and jazz, like, pure blues and jazz, like, you know what I mean? Like, when niggas was like, you know, that's what he would do. Like, they would go out, get dressed up, have a nice little thing, go out to the bar, club, you know, have some drinks. And you know what I mean? That was their thing. And then when music starts getting on this down crazy road and stuff, he just doesn't follow. He's fucking Sticks in the Pocket. He's fucking Miles Davis, Coltrane. He'll listen to some other shit. He likes Dave Brubeck. He knows some of that shit, you know what I mean? He'll fuck with it, but nigga, like in the truck, what you listening to, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just trip out on me though. So that was just saying that, just to say that. But I trip out on me. I'm like, I like rock and all this other shit, but if you play some good blues and shit, like the Black Keys, when you play that kind of sound for some reason, and you kind of stay more closer to like, you know, their content with the words and stuff, I can listen to that way more than like, and then again, I don't want to disrespect people like Metallica or like Led Zeppelin. Not saying I don't like him. Just when I listen to, not because they use the same type of music, it's just saying the, you know what I mean?
It's more of the intent behind it because when you like figure out what they're doing, in terms of like how they're going about it, like the thing is that when Led Zeppelin they grew up listening to the blues and playing the blues and stuff like that, and of course you gravitate to what you're influenced by. And with the Black Keys, it was the same thing, but their whole thing was like, we want to keep it as authentic as possible.
That's what I was saying. Led Zeppelin and all them others tweaked by, you know.
Yeah, they tweaked it. I took this class in college. It was called Black Music and Consciousness. So we talked about.
Before you go into that, just because I took music classes too in college, and people don't understand. There's real classes just like that.
I know, right? It's crazy.
You'll be like, once you start getting into your your degrees, like communications directed into whatever. Mine was communications directed in advertising. You won't believe some of the title classes that I did for advertising. You know what I'm saying? So like, same thing. When you said, what'd you say? It's so specific. Sometimes.
Black Music and Consciousness.
Yeah, bro. There's a whole theories on this shit now.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, and we read like 4 books. One of the books was written by Angela Davis, which I still have. But
you just got that in the stash. You got to return those books sometimes, bro.
No, I was pretty good about keeping my textbooks, but
I got some.
Yeah. But one of the books talked about basically how it starts off with jazz, and then it goes into blues, and then once blues went into 2 directions. Blues went into like harder jazz, which is like bebop. And of course, Coltrane, Miles Davis, their era, and then it turned into doo-wop. Then there's the genderfied versions of that, which will be like rock and roll, and then it will proceed into disco, and stuff like that. So music went into two different directions.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it all starts back to like playing old school jazz on a piano and like a juke joint. And I'm not talking about like the juke joints now in the South, but I'm talking about like literally it was just mostly black people. The establishment owner was black, the band was black, everybody was just there, and they were down for the music, but it was their way of communicating to the community and stuff like that. So when you listen to bands like the Black Keys, even though they're two white guys, they still have that ethos, that idea of like we're talking about issues that are relatable, to whereas Led Zeppelin's talking kind of rehashing the same story over and over again. My baby left me. How many times you gonna sing a song about your baby leaving you? How many times you're gonna there's a couple Black Key songs. One was like I sit around and I miss you. That's a genuine feeling.
Because the thing is, some of the songs I like when I think they're talking about a girl the whole time, and then at the end you realize like, oh, they're talking about their dad, or they're talking about their what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or they're just saying it vaguely, just so it can relate to you about missing someone. It doesn't have to always be about. It doesn't always have to be about the pussy.
and that's a common trope in music, like whether it be like Afrocentric music or Western music, that's the trope. It's like we it's always exalting a woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like give a woman due when you need to, but at the same time, there's plenty of things music can be about besides relationships.
Very true. And go check out my new album coming out in a few months called Sad Boy Bad Girls.
This dude.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It's a real. Oh, this is a plug now. This is a shameless plug.
No, but it's so funny because I'm dedicating this project. It's kind of like a project, because you're totally right. When I first started doing my own music, it was always about girls' relationship. When I started writing in like fucking senior year of high school, freshman year of college, I started actually making some songs or whatever. And I had some songs that were stupid and just about whatever. Most songs are derived from women. So deep, so detailed. Then if you try to perform these songs, you're like, this is very vulnerable in front of all these people. You're like, let me switch it up and everything. Do all this other crazy different type of content or different type of things. And now with these skills, I'm dedicating a project extremely and strictly to relationships that I've been in, ideas, and just kind of boom, so I can get into moving on to like making music, like how you said, like with just different concepts and thoughts and ideas, and it's not just about a woman and directed towards or whatever,
Exactly, and
I'm just so good at women.
I put it this way. So I'm getting to this point now where, like, just like you for a long time, I would sing about, my relationships with women or my involvement with women, and then over a while I was like thinking, is it more about the actual person or is it about the relationship? Mm-hmm. And I realized, well, what is the idea of a relationship? There's business relationships, there's small transactional relationships. This podcast is a relationship of some sort. So at that point, when you start writing music and songs and material, it definitely puts you in that mindset where you start thinking, okay, well, what is a relationship? And then you kind of take away from that, like, there's different types of things in terms of relationships we can write about. Social relationships, political relationships, So the past couple years when I started writing songs, I started thinking about, outside of women in my life or, my interactions with women. And I started thinking about, like, my family dynamics, like how I interact with my parents, how I interact with my friends. Like, those things are important to me as well.
And maybe now that you're at a right time in your life, you know what I'm saying, to actually be, and you're actually at, I I think it's more confidence because sometimes you can have the talent but you're just not ready to display those emotions or those perspectives to the world and put it out there or actually sit down and create it. Because I think of songs that I wanted to do, same thing about like, you know, I have an idea of like apologizing, you know what I mean, trying to like show people like about regret, but you kind of live with regret, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I don't give a fuck what anybody says, like, oh, I don't regret anything. Yeah, bro, I don't regret anything. I don't want to change anything, but there is some things where I'm like, I felt super embarrassed about, or it's things I feel guilty about or bad about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just gets me so mad when people are like, I don't regret anything, and I kind of want to make a song like that, but when I start sitting down and writing it,
you start thinking about your own thoughts and your own regrets, you're like,
this is a tough song to go through. You know? It's fucking tough.
Man.
You start saying some sorry shit like, maybe I don't want that out there.
Maybe I'm not feeling this today. Maybe I don't want everyone else to feel this, you know, in any sort of way. But you get to that point where you're just like, I'm tired of writing about the one thing I've been writing about forever. I want to, you know, you want to move on. And that shows emotional growth. That shows healthy mental growth because you're telling your brain like, okay, we can do other things. You know, and I think a lot of people, we get caught in cycles and we get afraid to just try to do new things.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that's very true. So one thing, okay, so now that we got a little comfortable with it, and then also I think this would be cool. Something I feel like I relate to you too, because you're a black man, you're Jamaican. You talk and you seem very well spoken, very intelligent.
Oh, why? Thank you.
So has that been? Was that something that was developed? Was that something that's always happened? Because so that's why I even asked you when like, oh, what else are you or whatever. I'm biracial, bro. I'm black and Mexican. You know what I mean? Most people don't realize that or know that. You know what I mean? I don't really have an identity to race, really. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, growing up, most races didn't accept me because, you know what I mean? Except white people because I played baseball. And, you know, and because no matter what, white people, you a nigga, bro. Like, yeah. Like, you know, man, you mixed, I don't give a fuck what you mix. That's a nigga right there. Like, look how he runs those bases. That's a nigga running those bases. But anyway, that's where I got to feel like, okay, I'm black. All right, so I'm black. All right, so anyway, what I'm saying is like, because you speak well and everything like that. You said you're Jamaican. People are like, nigga, I don't hear an accent at all. You know what I'm saying?
Well, at some point in time, you gotta. Here's a little education. This is called code switching. So most of the time, I could go down the street and talk like this and be like, "What's up, bro? How's it going? How you doing, man? What's good? You know?" And then, of course, when I'm at work, how you doing today? How things going with you?
It's very subtle and very changed.
And then when I'm at home, of course, we go, "Oh, what wrong with you? Me don't understand why people are constantly bother me. Yeah, neg me with this, yeah, bother me with that. Me don't get it, you know? So it's just you know, so it's code switching. Like and that is my way of navigating through the world. Like
that's great. I love that, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. Cause I was right when you said Jamaican, I'm like, nigga, I wanna hear this switch up so bad.
No, what you want, man? You need to just relax yourself and just let the man chat. Me just met you, man. Listen here, star. Me just met you. Me don't know how you present yourself. Me don't know who you are. Me don't know what you affiliate with yourself, man. So me I'll just go be easy with this and just work my way to it, okay, man?
Don't ever question this man's fucking authenticity ever again.
Oh,
man. Ever question this man's authenticity, bro. As a musician, as an artist, and as a person, right there, just off a rip right there. That's so cool.
Yeah, but I code switch, and it's not so much to make myself feel comfortable, it's to make others feel comfortable. Because when you said it yourself, I'm a big ass dude. Yeah, so bro. when I get out of
super intimidating and threatening.
I know, and especially if I don't have a haircut or shave, I'm just like,
damn, look at this nigga.
I know, right?
That's exactly what people think. Damn, even like white people, black people, Mexican people. Oh, look at this nigga. Exactly. However you want to say it, that's what niggas is thinking.
Everybody gets intimidated when they see me, and all my friends say this: we were scared of you. We were intimidated by you. We were scared of you. We didn't know. We did not know who you were until you opened your mouth.
And they were like, "Oh, yo, bro, so you know about the Black Keys, man?"
And I heard that my whole entire life, and it's crazy because when I lived in the Bay, I lived in San Leandro,
South San Leandro.
Yeah, I lived in San Leandro, South Hayward, East Side San Jose, but I grew up mostly in Fremont. Like a good chunk of my life, I spent living in Fremont.
Is that more black people and stuff? Because Hayward and San Leandro seems like a lot of Hispanic people.
There was a lot of Hispanic people. There was a lot of black people when I was living out there, but like in Fremont, it's mostly white, Asians, and people from all regions of Southeast Asia. So like you got people from Malaysia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India.
You know what? Yeah, Syria.
Syria.
Some people from Syria, because I have my homies from Syria, and he lives over in that area. Yeah.
Exactly. So during growing up, it was like a lot of the times I wasn't around too many people of my color. Like at every single school that I went to, I wasn't the only black kid. I was one of 5 or one of 10. Yeah. And then when I moved to San Leandro, it was different. I was like half the class was black, and then a quarter of the class was Mexican, a quarter of the class was white. But still, my parents being Jamaican, they were like, when you're at home, we want you to speak a certain way, But they were more scared of like people targeting me for being a black person,
Yeah, for sure.
So they wanted me to speak a certain way, and then when I got taller,
black person.
Yeah, exactly. So when I got taller, they obviously gave me the talk of like, oh, this is the reasons why you should never lie to the police. This is what you do if you encounter the police.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to grow up with that talk. I had that talk when I was 9 years old. I got that talk again when I was 14.
Oh yeah, me too, bro. My parents are both correctional officers. I mean, my mom's Mexican. She gave me that talk, but she tries to sugarcoat it a little bit, because she wants me to. And that's why probably how I am like I am, because she wants me to be a free thinker and open-minded. But my dad, as much as like people may even think this is a trip or why would you say that or that man it's too late, he did not want me to grow up with the false sense of security of like, because he knew what he was doing. He grew up from the hood. Both of my parents are like hood kids, like, I'm not saying ghetto or whatever. I just know they were not well off. They had to, at least somewhere in their childhood, they got better. Their parents did better or whatever, and they got to live better lives. But they were raising kids living lives way better than they lived, and they were hanging around kids and people, in a way better environment than prior. So my parents established that very early. My mom was sugarcoated a little bit to be free thinker and know you're a person. My dad's looking at me and telling me like, yo, these white people will think you a nigga. Like, as a very young kid, but then my mom wants me to be proud of all. My dad's like, be proud of all that shit, Mexican, black, or whatever. But just to let you know when you walk out that door, bro, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what you think, you black and Mexican. Like, you know what I mean? And the thing is, you think that's fucked up, but in the long run, that shit helped me and protected me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame them. You know what I mean?
No, they gave. That's the thing. It's like they gave you like a little bit of a roadmap of like, this is how the world's gonna see you.
Yeah.
So you here are some tools to navigate it. And I never really thought about it too much up until like. That's the thing about college. Once you go to college and you start taking classes, I never really thought about it up until I hit that point in my life where, and it wasn't so much the professors telling me who I was, it was more other peers telling me who I was. And
what do you mean by that? Go into specifically.
Specifically, so my professors would I would go into classes like political science. Like I took an international relations class, so of course there were debates on like all the same things we debate about to this day, and majority of the time I would have certain classmates come up to me and be like, well, that's a surprising viewpoint from a person like you. And oftentimes I would be like, what do you mean?
Oh, man.
What do you mean? Like,
yo, fam, bro. Yo, those college classes, bro, because I'm like the only, like you said, like I'm 1 of 5. I'm like, nigga, I'm the only black person. I went to college in Indiana, bro.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, bro. So, like, we're doing like an economics class on like social structure or some bullshit it or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes these classes are like fucking welded out perfectly for me. Because I'm like, I'm about to get an A for this because I live this shit. Like, you know, they're talking about like economic issues and like society and you're trying, and like communities and trying to build them up and like, what can we do and stuff. Or even with, man, I can't remember some of the classes. Like, you remember the titles of them? I can't remember. But I just remember these moments in these classes where these kids say these most fucking ignorant thing. And because I was young, I remember in Sacramento I was even in a class and I was just shocked. Because in Indiana I wasn't shocked. I'm ready for this fucking, you know, hick shit, redneck shit or whatever, this white people shit, whatever. And not being derogatory, is just, you know, it's just to help you fucking phrase the idea of the question, what they're saying, or the statement. I'm saying in Sacramento even, when you get it in these classes, there's a white person saying like, oh, well, they rap about the hood. I thought they were just proud to be from the hood. And like, you don't even pay attention enough. They're just accepting the fact this is all life is going to be.
Exactly.
And once you tell them that, they're like shocked and appalled. And I'm like, but it gets me mad because you didn't even take the time to figure that shit out. And that's what gets me fucking mad because I'm like, you just lived 10 years of your life living that ignorant bullshit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the thing is, what helped me get past that and not be so mad at the white man or ignorant people is when I went to Indiana and then you ask them about their lives and so Sacramento, I don't give a fuck where you live. You need to go fucking educate yourself. Diversity is everywhere in California.
Exactly.
In Indiana, I gave such a pass because I'm talking to every white person. They're like, nigga, there's 3 black kids from my high school. And that's the first time I ever went to black school with a black kid. And they're all 3 from the same family. And one nigga got shot. One nigga went to Harvard. One nigga, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You got so many extremes. So I'm like, so some of the questions they ask, they're very genuinely don't know.
It's like, and
first generation Asian and Mexican people in your place. I'm like, bro, I'm 5th generation Mexican. Like, you know what I mean? You got the first people ever, you know, in a family coming here, and it's just like, yo, wow, that's crazy.
I know, right?
Only Mexican people they run into is at a gas station before they go fucking work at 5 in the morning, you know?
I know, right? But, and that's the thing, too. It's like, people were shocked by the fact that I had well-rounded opinions about the things that I talked about.
From both sides.
You know? Like, I was taught not to be, I was taught to be myself, but also not to be closed-minded, to hear both sides, you know. Educate yourself on all angles before you open your mouth about something. And the thing is that some people don't want to hear certain things, and I get it. I understand. Like, especially if you grew up, you know, taking heat and hate from people, you don't want to hear it. But here's the thing, though. It's an opinion. You can leave it at the door and live your life, or you can take it up and try to dissect it and learn something from it. And me, most of the time, if it offends me, like if it truly offends me, like if it really heats me up, I just go, why? Why does it heat me up? Then I go into do research, you know? But at the end of the day, I realized, like, that's how my whole life was going to be. Like, people were always going to be shocked at the ideas and the things that I said and the things that I do because of my skin color. And, you know, and it's crazy, but you know, I am who I am, and I take, you know, I take no shame.
Yeah, that's why I think I am like super like one after just talking to so like when I saw you, I met you over at Shop at Dry Cleaners Instagram. Shout out Oliver Opus. But anyway. I saw you in the crowd over at the open mic night over there. So I just saw you. You had your guitar with you, right? Yeah. And I'm mad because this is the one moment where I'm not bringing my camera to film people because I performed that night too. When I perform too as well, very rarely I'll bring the camera out too because I'm like, I'm a performer today. Like, I'm not a fucking videographer. I'm not an interviewer. I'm not a fucking podcaster. I'm a fucking... Because, you know, I mean, people fucking switch that shit up. They don't even know, you know, half the time I can rap. But anyway, so I was so mad that I did. Because when you got up there, I'm like, yo, what is this motherfucker going to do? You know what I mean? And then right when you did the right song, I'm like... Because, like, again, I was talking to you earlier about the assumptions I make. I'm not saying I'm always right. But I'm like, you know, I can make a pretty good assumption, and I'm like, oh man, I just want to talk to this dude to see, like, you know what I mean? And then just talking to you when we were outside about the movies you like, the things you're into. I'm like, damn, bro, like, I'm not saying you're just like me, or I'm like, but just I know we have a similar thing because people get that shit switched up, bro. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, people, I'm the opposite. So you got a little bit of my dad. Have you seen my dad before?
Mm-mm.
Big ass black dude. But he don't realize how big and black he is sometimes. You know what I mean? He's very intimidating. He don't realize it. And I'm like, he's a teddy bear, bro. He's a fucking, especially because I'm his son. I seen him as weakest and his strongest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a big ass teddy bear. I'm like, you don't realize how intimidating you are to people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And me, I'm like a little dog who don't know that he's not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, damn, nigga, I thought I was way more intimidating than that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
Niggas want to come pick me up. I'm like, nigga, you better not pick me up, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? I guess it's a little man syndrome thing too. But just hearing you and talking to you and stuff, I'm like, I know he has to go through some of the things. You know what I mean? Because people said the thing like with me, oh, you're an Oreo or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, the thing is, the shit that you're into, black people created and did anyway. And the thing is, you're more salty because I can switch up into and go like super proper and super fucking, you know what I mean? But at the same time, as I grow, though, I keep all my personalities and perspectives all end up meshing into one. But and I can be me anywhere. You know what I mean? I'll slow up some of the cussing or the niggas, you know, depending on where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? But because dad raised a nigga, you know what I'm saying? You know, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Mom raised a well-respected man, but dad raised a nigga, you know what I mean? But, so yeah, just talking to you and like, I was just like, oh man, we can relate and kick in, bro. So far, every time I talk to you and see you, just running together, like, this is a cool-ass nigga, bro.
I mean, I don't know, dude. It's like most of the time, I'm just being me. I've learned the world has made me jaded, but at the same time, the world has, you know, taught me not to be jaded.
Yeah.
So most days when I wake up, I just think to myself, I think like everyone else, I need to go to work.
Yeah.
I need to come home. I need to play some music. I need to write a song. And then I go to bed. And then I do the same thing over again. Yeah. So, and at the end of the day, we just people. Everyone's just people. Everyone got
that's how I feel.
Yeah, they got their problems. They got their issues. And then everyone's got their good days and their bad days. But then there's people out there who constantly choose. It's a choice too. You wake up and you choose to have a bad day every single day. You choose to be ignorant every single day. You choose to make assumptions about people strictly based on what they look like and how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
And I pity those people because they'll never understand what joy and happiness is. What genuine joy and happiness is.
That's why it's so fucked up with the mental health issue now, because like, and don't get me wrong, I feel like because I have my own family and people like, you know what I'm saying? Because let's say I had my own family who are people, if they don't take their medication, they're schizophrenic, bro, and they'll fucking try to murder themselves or someone else. And I have also family members and friends who take medicine and things like that to get the chemicals right in their brain just so they can function and not be sad and fucking, you know what I mean? And it's so hard for me, bro, because like I'm like, maybe I just never really had it and I just describe it as it, but like, bro, I'm like, I don't know, because I don't never want to tell someone to fucking like, you know, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and stuff. But there's so many times where like, and I'm not talking about bad days. I'm talking about like I start questioning my reality and myself.
Oh, disassociating.
Just be like, yo, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, bro, like really, what's the point? You know what I mean? And I have to do stuff every day to just make sure I'm cool so I can keep living in this golden mean that I'm in, you know, or at least where it seems to other people I'm in a golden mean, because so many people just think I'm happy all the time, and I'm like, I always look at people who are super happy all the time, and I'm like, you like tell me your sad moments, and then every time you always hear them, they add some crazy ass story or life or something. You're like, oh, it's the same thing with me, bro. Like that's why everyone thinks I'm happy, bro, because there's so many times I was low, and I choose to not be that person anymore every day.
And also, realistically, I'm the type of person where for a long, long time, if I was feeling sad or depressed or just unhappy with things, it would have this aerial effect. Like, people around me would just get sad and get depressed and, be pissed off.
Yeah, bro, if I was big and black like you, I'd be happy too, bro. You got that big dick, bro.
I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, man, I'm just realistically, I learned over time that if my mood is elevated, then it helps some people around me. Not everybody, but it helps some people around me keep their mood elevated too. Mm-hmm. So I try to be happy. I try to be positive. But all of my close friends and family will tell you, like, this dude is morose, neurotic. Like, he don't like nothing and nobody. But realistically, it's like, it's the opposite. I love everything and everybody around me. Like, life is as good as you want it to be.
But you just feel a certain type of way about certain shit.
Exactly. Yeah. The world ain't always sunshine and rainbows. But for real. But all I'm saying is that I've been learning to take more time to smell the flowers, to appreciate the sun, to like get up in the morning and be like, I'm up and I'm here. I enjoy those things.
Oh, my bad for burping. I'm not going to edit that out. But anyway. So let's go ahead and we're already at, we're at 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're going to, for like last 20 minutes, let's go into you getting into music and getting into bands. Like, how many bands have you been in?
Realistically, that was one thing I was thinking about today. So I was in 4 bands. I've been in 4 bands. Or I've been technically in 2 bands, but like 2 of the bands are like different
shift,
like different incarnations, or members would leave and then we would change the band name and it'd be a different band, or we add new members and it would turn into a whole different thing, or different eras of a band. But I've been in about like 4 bands. Groups of people playing music.
So wait, okay. So the guy, no disrespect, so the guy you were with who sang that, who did his shit too.
Seth. Yeah.
I love that guy too. Like that, like just having the confidence to sing that song like the way he did. I'm like, yo, bro, like that's like it's not the song, it's just the spectacle. I'm so into the spectacle of things, and like just for have the balls to go and do that, because you could, even if it's a funny song and he does it right, but it's still like that's what people are gonna remember you as, you know what I mean, as the guy who does it, you know what I mean?
Like Seth has a vibe, and that's one of the things I love about him. And I've known this dude, doing the math today, I've known this dude for about 9 years. We've been in a band for 5 years, and he always has a vibe. He always has this energy that he carries with him, and he's just doing his thing, and people love that about him. I love that about him especially. And he's extremely talented. Like, if you think I'm talented, trust me, that dude can outplay me. He can outplay me on the guitar. He's an amazing drummer. He's an amazing producer. He knows how to make beats. He knows how to record music. And he's a blessing. He's a blessing of a person to be around.
Yeah. But so go into when was your first when was your first band though?
My first band started in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that time I was playing guitar for about 3 years, and this guy, his name is Bob the Lame. He was in this band called Kismet Aura, and it was with his ex-girlfriend. They broke up. So Bob hit me up.
No more band.
No more band. So he hit me up and he's like, "Yo, let's jam." And we jammed a couple times, and he told me I had this gig, and that was the first incarnation of Static Symphony, which is the band that I'm in right now.
Yeah. So how did that overall came to be, Static Symphony?
So my approach to it was like, listening to White Stripes and Black Keys. I was thinking like, 2-piece blues rock duo,
Bruh, it's so. Oh, keep going,
and then,
because after you listen to the music, like people who have not listened to the music, I took again another random assumption.
And then afterwards, it turned into, he came from like a noise, garage rock, punk rock background, and I listened to that stuff, but he was super into it, so he brought that aspect, so it turned into like a blues punk fusion.
Yeah.
And that band had a falling out. And then the next band that I was in was with two homies from Modesto.
Okay.
Not Modesto, Ceres. They're from Ceres. I need to clarify that. Their names were Robert and Ivan. We were all in a music collective together called the Morlocks Underground. And our band was called the Arbiters of Faith. So I took songs from Static and I brought them into the Arbiters, and that turned into Salt Brain, which was like our little 3-piece, but the Arbiters of Faith was a 5-piece band. Yeah. So we had 2 singers, we had a bass player,
there's a lot going on.
2 guitarists and a drummer.
Okay.
So
you can do a lot of things, huh?
I mean, yeah, I try. I just play guitar.
No, I'm saying like in that group, in that aspect, you could do a lot of things.
Yeah, you could definitely do a lot of things in that band, and we had a lot of grand ideas, but we're also a group of people in our mid-20s trying to figure ourselves out.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand, because a lot of times, like, when bands and music and things, like, me, I rap and shit, so you try to, like, you're like, yo, this dude can rap fucking great, and you try to work with him, and you're like, this is the worst shit to work with, like, ever. Like, bro, like, yeah, we got a cool verse out of you, bro, but this shit sucked to work with you. Like, it was that's what you end up realizing a lot of times. Like, think about, like, in the industry, like, so many people, like, they're so talented and people don't work together because you're like, bro, I don't like the way this motherfucker works, bro. Example, and this is also praise to Akon too as well, but like Akon, when he did that song, think about that song he did with Eminem. I see you creeping and you leaving out the shadows. So Akon wanted to work with him and shit. So he goes to fucking Shady's studio, you know what I mean? I'm coming through, you know what I mean? First day he comes in around like 9 or whatever, or 8 or some shit. Like, I'm gonna work with Eminem. And he shows up to the studio and like, oh, he's gone.
What?
And he's just like, oh, what do you mean he's Akon? And Akon's telling the story, by the way. He's like, what do you mean he's gone? And he's like, oh, he comes in at 9 to 5. And then he's like, oh, what? Okay, I don't know. He comes in, all right, maybe he didn't even say that. They say he comes in earlier. All right, okay, whatever. I'm gonna come in earlier or whatever and shit. And then he said he came in on like 1 or some shit. And then like Eminem like came through or whatever, and he heard some shit or whatever, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get on that. And he like spit like 8 bars or something on the verse or whatever. Or no, he came in earlier or some shit, and then Eminem was like, oh, you ain't going to lunch? Like, he heard, like, oh, I'll get on that. You ain't going to, like, and they were working on it. He's like, you ain't going to lunch? Eminem went to lunch and came back, and Akon fucking was just like, what the fuck? Like, so Eminem came back, listened to what Akon had. All right, cool. Did 8 bars right at 5 o'clock. All right, man, see you tomorrow. Akon's like, nigga, we got a hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, get this shit done. He goes, nah, man, I'm going home to see my daughter. Go. So he really worked a 9 to 5. I don't know if he does this to the day. He probably has at least some type of iteration of it. But I'm just saying, like, that's what to me is just like, and Akon switched it up. He's like, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm not saying everybody has to work like fucking Eminem and like do a 9 to 5 or a business, but I'm just saying like people work certain ways and do certain things. And look how it stopped and progressed that song. Eminem didn't take it to events like, oh, Akon doesn't work hard and doesn't wake up. He's like, that's how he does it, but this is how I'm doing it. I'm not going to show him or tell him. And especially him just showing up, it shows that he wants to do the song and, you know what I mean, whatever. But at the same time, I realize like everybody does their own thing. You got to be acceptable, but also at the same time, like have your style kind of contort a little bit to be conducive to someone else. You know?
Exactly. So
if you want to work with people, if you don't, then fuck it. But I'm just saying, if you want to work with people.
If you want to work with people, and that band definitely taught me how to kind of contort what I was doing with other people, like how to work with other people. But it also taught me a lot about like going back to the beginning of this podcast, relationships. It taught me because the drummer and the guitarist singer, Robert and Ivan, they've been friends since high school. Yeah,
so there's a chemistry there that you'll never be able to replicate.
Exactly, and they invited me, and they treated me like a brother. We were all like brothers to each other. And the thing is that there was a rift that happened in between them when this band was happening. This and it's crazy because it was only like 8 to 9 months of my life, but I seriously remember everything vividly. But there was a rift, and Ivan wanted to write songs, and he wanted to play guitar, and Robert was like, well, go start your own band. But at the same time, he's like, and Robert was like, I don't want Ivan to play drums with me anymore. And I was caught in the middle. I was like, well, we have songs written, and we have gigs booked, and we can do these things, and we can do these things, and it's totally up to you. There was a point where we practiced consistently. We practiced consistently for like 2 to 3 months, but we didn't have a gig.
Yeah.
But it was kind of good to practice with them because there was that bonding. I got to know them. I got to hang out with them. We shared musical interests. Like, we had shared musical interests, but they were like, oh, have you heard about this band? Have you heard about this band? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? So it was great. It was great. They were awesome friends, and they still are awesome friends to this day.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it comes to music, it doesn't work out. I just remember the last show, seriously, like, Ivan was playing the drums, and Robert, we were off. We had an off night, but it turned into a real off night. And then next thing you know, everyone at the end was just like, okay, we're done.
Yeah,
so that band came back to Stockton. And when I came back to Stockton, at that point, I was just like, I don't want to play music with people no more. I was so over it. I was so done with it. And then, sure enough, Seth, he gave me the call saying like, hey, I heard about some music you did with Bob a while back, and I heard those recordings you guys have, and I want to start it all off again. And it was 2017, and that's when Static Symphony started all over again.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. That's what's up. So how would you one, why you guys call it Static Symphony? And then two, it's like, what would you describe your guys' self as, or that group or your people as?
We a hot mess. I'm just joking. Oh, that's a good one, ain't it?
He said,
we a hot mess.
That's the new group name. Ladies and gentlemen.
Real talk, though. So the name Static Symphony came up because at the time when me and Bob first started the band, we were like, I was thinking, what's noise and what's music? And I was like, well, music is a symphony, you know, a conducted symphony.
My, when you said noise, that's what my grandpa said to anything he did. Like, cut that noise! It's noise. And that's right. You're like, well, how do you change this to noise? And you know what you do? For my grandpa, put Beyonce in it. Now it's not noise anymore. He's like, hey, girl! Go ahead, go with your
Exactly. So... yeah, man. So Bob was into noise music. Noise music is an actual genre. It's like an offshoot of garage rock and punk. Yeah. And he was into noise music. So Static Symphony, noise. What is static? Static is the noise you see on a TV late at night when back in the day when you had no TV channels playing.
I get it,
yeah. So noise, and then symphony is music, like a conducted group of music. So Static Symphony.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then what would you describe yourself as? That's what you describe your guys' self as? The name is like blunt as fuck?
At first it was. At first we were definitely noise music because, like I said, we were blending blues with like this crazy garage rock, punk rock style drumming.
I love myself, bro. That's lit, bro. I listened to 3 songs, bro, and that was literally what I got, bro.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm not trying to make fun or not. Like, I'm literally, because I'm like breaking down. I'm like, yo, what? And I'm like, that's why I was like, bro, I'm a genius, bro.
And then he walks off. No.
Hey, bro, like I'm not capping at all, bro. Like, I really was just like, yo, it feels like I'm listening to the like a Black Keys type of song, but they're incorporating like fucking like punk music to it almost. Like, that's, to me, I don't know, I'm completely wrong, I don't know.
But now it's like, now we have a bass player, and now it's...
So you're talking about new shit.
So in terms of the new shit, like the old shit was definitely that noise music, and it had that blues punk mix. Now it's, I would definitely say we're like definitely like more garage rock, more indie rock. So songs have structures, there's choruses, verses, there's guitar solos.
There's more of like a blend and thing, because that's what I'm saying. Like, it was so basic, but it was just like, I don't know, the feeling. That's what I'm saying, because I felt like when you hear the music, you're like, okay, I don't know, bro. I gotta go delve back in, but that's exactly, like, it's just so funny when you said it, because that's what I was thinking, and then you said it, and I'm like, damn, I was fucking right. I should fucking let in with it.
And then we pull from different sources. Like, one song, like our we call it our hit, but like the song that we recorded last year was called Susie Blue, and we put out an album, but that was like the first song we put forward, like releasing, and we did a music video and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Check it out. It's on YouTube. Susie Blue. Susie Blue. Susie Blue. Yeah.
Go ahead, keep talking, bro.
But yeah, with Susie Blue, like one day I showed up to practice, I had that riff, and then it kind of started a little late, and then Seth was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of an old Hendrix track, like the drums are a little behind and you're kind of leading it. And I'm like, yeah, so we went in that direction. So we pulled from like Hendrix, I pulled from like weird UK shoegaze bands, like The Verve and like Ride and bands like that. So a lot of weird influences kind of go into
our Susie with the Z?
Yep. And then IE.
Okay.
There you go.
But what were you saying right now?
But yeah, we have all these different influences that kind of pull into our music, but it's rooted around in the same thing. But yeah, that's the video, and
oh shit.
That's the homie Ian who
Geovanie Brooks. Oh, bro.
I know, right? And it's kind of crazy, but
hey, fuck all y'all, bro. I'm watching this shit right now, bro.
But
who's that guy?
That's Ian. That's
okay.
the homie Ian. He actually helped us film this music video.
Who filmed it?
It was a combination of me, Ian, and Seth.
Oh, so a bunch of, and then who edited it?
It was me. I was the editor.
You edited it?
Yeah, I was the editor, bro. Yeah.
Fucking. See, that's exactly what I feel, bro. It's like a Black Keys feel, but y'all ain't playing Black Keys music. Y'all playing fucking garage. You know what I mean? Like same instruments, but different. Yeah, that's what
different
it is.
vibe.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
But it's just like us doing random stuff around the neighborhood, and yeah, it's a cool song. But that was the first song we released off of our album. Our album's called Living Our Best Life.
Wait, what?
Living My Best Life. That's what the album's called.
Okay, yeah. My bad, I got Susan Blue. Bro, I was looking for some shit, and y'all got one.
And then, but yeah, that was the first song we put out, and everyone loved it. And then we play it live, and everyone eats it up. And now it's to the point where,
bro, when y'all got your next date?
We're gonna play the Dawn of Summerfest. So we're playing this festival.
Where at?
It's gonna be a Hatch Workshop in Stockton.
Okay, for sure.
On June 25th, it's gonna have.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's where you're gonna do the photography shit. Are you gonna do photography there?
No, I'm not gonna do photography there. We're performing, but there's like 30 bands, 20 vendors.
Shit.
It's gonna be a big thing, man, for sure.
You got a wig on.
Yeah,
and then you can tell. Yeah, bro. So you graduated you graduated, right?
Yeah, definitely.
With film and shit. Mm-hmm. Damn, you got good angles, good cuts.
Oh, the angles was all Ian. So Ian came in with the iPhone. We shot all this on iPhone, and
it looks real nice, bro.
Wait, I didn't edit this. This is what happens when you smoke too much damn weed.
You didn't edit it?
Seth edited this.
Okay.
Seth edited this. So our drummer, drummer edited this.
Oh, that's you cutting it though.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
You see what I mean by like he knows how to do everything? Like this.
No, but look at you though. You killed that shit, bro.
I mean, I do what I do.
That was crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
God, hey, can I even hear? Hey, oh yeah, okay. Damn, bro. Oh damn, bro, that shit was sick as fuck. I'm gonna give you the like right now, bro. There you go.
But we recorded this during quarantine, man. So we recorded the album during quarantine, and we did the video during quarantine, and we waited a while to put out the album.
Yeah.
So we dropped it at last December.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Not this December that just passed, but the before?
No, I mean like 2021.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the one before.
Yeah, the
2021. Not 20. Oh wait. We're in 2022 right now.
Yeah, so
2021 just passed.
Yes.
So that December?
Yeah, we dropped it.
So before this year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like 6 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah, 5 months ago.
But yeah, our sound is completely changing. It's 5 years. 5 years is a long time. We still do like, of course, the Black Keys, White Stripes influence stuff, but now we're like the other day, Seth was listening to some Weekend shit, and he's like, "Oh, we can incorporate that into our sound." Or we like to pull from different stuff. We're not, we're growing. So that's why I'm still doing it.
He's what you want. My voice is all fucked up. I can't do the weekend. He's what you want. He's what you want. He's what you want. He's what you want. I'm what you need, what you need, what you need. I'm what you need.
Oh my God, this dude.
I got everything you want, and I do.
Get it.
Everything he does times 3. And he ain't gotta know. I got you on the floor, doing things you never thought you'd do. Okay, right. Oh man, bro. Alright, bro, we got up to an hour, bro. You wanna let's close it out, bro. What do you want to leave the people with, bro? It's been a pleasure. Are you gonna do another song or no?
No.
Okay.
They only get one.
That's great. Honestly, so they can go listen to your shit. We're gonna open with I think we're gonna open with the guitar. I think that'd be cool.
Okay.
Cut into the interview.
Yeah. The only thing could I do shout outs?
Yeah. Do everything, bro. This is your time right now. Then we're closing.
Oh Lord. Okay. Shout out to first off Music Around Stockton. Buy, sell, use gear at Music Around. MusicAround.com.
Music Around. I actually got these chords from Music Around.
Yo, those are the homies down there. Seth works there. I work there 1 day a week. I teach.
I probably totally see Seth there.
Yeah, you probably have multiple
times. When I bought these chords, he probably helped me and I don't even remember.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, Music Around Stockton. Shout out to, of course, Harmon Warhol for bringing me onto this podcast. Yeah, check me out, Pizza Guy Blues, Instagram, and then of course Static Symphony CA on Instagram as well. And then other than that, I don't got much to say. Y'all go listen to some of this music we've been talking about.
When's the new music coming out? You guys got a plan for that or what?
We're writing right now, and you know how writing goes. Like we'll be like 6 months, but really it's a year. Yeah. Really it's 2 years. No, but usually whenever we start writing an album, we start recording like 3 to 4 months after. Okay. So by the end of this year, we should have something new out. Okay, for sure. Yeah, bro. Well, go check my nigga bro out, bro. This shit was sick as fuck. I appreciate you, bro. Mm-hmm. And on that note, wow. Hey, man. That was sick, man. That was sick, man. You gotta do it. I hope that it's not clicked on there. Yeah, bro.